what's going on out there? I would like to welcome every single one of you over to Water Your Soil. So before I get into this video, I would like to say, if you're new around here, I have two rules over at this channel. The first rule is for you to always use your own discretion when it comes to credit cards and credit scores. The second rule, that's for you to verify everything that you learn, whether it's here on this channel, another channel, or anywhere. So getting into this video is going to be related to some credit card news. And this is one that I've been wanting to make because a couple of people came by and they left comments in regard to my videos on credit card debt and the articles regarding credit card debt. And you know, people would always come by and they would say, well, you know, everyone who's in credit card debt is not there because they're bad with credit cards. Some people are in credit card debt because they're going through things financially. And I understand that. And this article, this is going to be a news article that helps bring the point home of what I've been trying to say, as well as what some of the people who have left those comments have been trying to say. But before I get into that, I would like to address something. A couple of people came by this past week on different videos, and the comments were, hey, is this an AI channel? And then someone even came by and said, hey, I heard this is an AI channel. And to the latter comment, if you heard my channel is an AI channel, where did you hear it from? Where is your source? Who is your source? Because I want to know. I think I have a clue of who the source is, but honestly, when it comes to this channel, this Water Your Soil channel has been around since 2020. I made my first video in early 2021. I'm not saying artificial intelligence wasn't around during that time, but the only AI we were talking about was Allen Iverson. We really weren't talking about AI in terms of content creation. So no, this channel is not AI, and as I stated in the previous video, it would never be AI. I think some of you don't understand the amount of time that it requires to put a video out to you all. It literally takes multiple hours from the recording to the editing and then the uploading. So it takes time. And for you to come by people's channel and say, hey, this is an AI channel, you're discrediting the content creator. I have a life outside of YouTube. I do not do YouTube for a time. I actually have a life outside of here. And I make these videos for you all. So when you come by people's channel and you're basically discrediting them by saying they're AI, you got to think about that. But without wasting any further time talking about that topic, because I'm not talking about it anymore, we're going to get right into the credit card news. So the way how credit card news works around here is I'll read through the article or I'll read through the important excerpts of the article, but I always leave the link to the article in the description box. So we're going to get right into it. All right, let's go. So this article was posted on NPR. So the article reads, why being in credit card debt doesn't mean you're bad with money. And this was posted on October 9th, 2025. It says, people can feel a lot of shame about being in credit card debt. They think it means they're bad with money. That is something to avoid or a burden they can never pay off. But for financial educator Rita Soledad Fernandez Polino, founder of Wealth Paratotals, we should simply see debt for what it is. It's just what we use when we don't have access to cash reserves, she said. And unfortunately, our assumption and emotions around debt can prevent us from managing our money with confidence, she says. They can stop us from being honest with ourselves about our financial situation, getting the support we need to pay off our debt, or even leveraging our debt to our advantage. Here are 3 common debt myths and how they can affect our finances. So when it comes to these myths, I'm gonna focus on the top myth. I'll read through the myths. I'm not gonna read through the paragraphs of all of them except for the first one, but I'm gonna talk about the first myth mainly in this video, so you want to stick around for that. But we're going to get further into it so you all can find out what the first myth is, because in my opinion, this first one is important and it relates back to the comments that I mentioned earlier on those previous videos regarding credit card debt. So let's get into it. Myth. This is the first myth. People in credit card debt are terrible with money. Some people think that those with debt have a spending problem or don't know how to budget, says Fernandez Paulino. But that's often not the case. About 45% of respondents to a 2025 Bankrate survey said that their credit card debt came from emergencies or unexpected expenses. That includes car problems, medical bills, and home repairs. People also rack up debt during stressful life events. It says, quote unquote, the clients that usually come our way usually have dealt with the death of a loved one and are struggling with so much grief that they struggle to show up for work, Fernandez Polino says. Or they've been dealing with medical issues and are in debt for treatment. That's why it's so important to stash money away for emergencies while creating your plan to pay down your debt, she says. If an unforeseen event happens and you don't have those funds, you may get stuck in another cycle. And just to let you know, the other two myths that she mentioned is you should avoid debt at all costs, and getting out of debt is impossible. Those are the two. And I talk about those two things on this channel, and a lot of people do believe that you should avoid debt at all costs, especially when it comes to credit card debt. Like I always mention, people in the debt-free community, they're not really fans of credit cards. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna talk about myth number one, and that's because myth number one is so important, and it says people with debt are bad with money. Now, I would like to think we all show grace to people. I hope you all show grace to people, and we all have empathy for people. I hope you all have empathy for people as well. One thing about me, because some of you are new here, I grew up on the east side of Buffalo, New York. And I grew up in poverty. My subscribers, they heard this story over and over. I literally grew up on public assistance. Some people say, hey, why do you tell everybody that, especially strangers? It's because I'm not ashamed of where I come from. You know, I don't wear it like a badge of honor, but it's my story. It's what I've overcame. So I like to talk about that because I understand, and I know some people out there who may be watching either come from that situation or they're currently in that situation. And I just want to help more people who are in that situation or come from that situation understand credit cards and credit scoring and how it works. And that's why I get on here and I talk about credit card debt, and I talk about how credit cards work and how credit scoring works. And one of the things that's always commented on this channel when it comes to me talking about credit card debt is what this article mentioned. People will come by and they'll say things like, hey, well, the economy is bad right now and I'm required to do more spending, or I ran into an emergency, which happens. A lot of people run into an emergency. And I don't look at credit card debt as a meaning that you're bad with money, because I view credit cards and actual money as two different things. With money, once you make a purchase, you have to make the purchase right then and there. With credit cards, you at least have 30 days to pay off that purchase. So I view credit cards as a loan, basically like a 30-day loan. And I view it as, hey, if I make this purchase right now in a 30-day time frame, at least in my mind, I set it at 30 days. In a 30-day time frame, I need to be able to pay this off in full. And if I'm not able to pay it off in full, then I probably shouldn't be purchasing it. So I created that habit and I set my mind to that. Now with some emergencies, you're not able to do that, which is why people carry emergency funds. However, I'm aware some people are not able to have an emergency fund, so they reach for their credit cards and they use their credit cards. Even when you're under those circumstances, there are ways to avoid carrying interest, getting late fees, and carrying credit card debt. There are ways. And I just want you all to know, while this article does say that, you know, people run into emergencies, because we do. We're humans. We all run into emergencies at some point in our life. But there is a lot of spending out here, and it's done on discretionary items. What are discretionary items? Discretionary items are items that we don't need. They're not necessities. They're not things that get you by on a week-to-week basis. They're things such as extra sneakers that you don't need. You just buy them because you're a fan of how they look or a fan of them. Or you go out to dinner more often than you need to. Or you take trips and you travel. Or you buy a lot of designer clothes and things like that. You know, discretionary things. There is some spending that's done in regard to discretionary things. And I have a social media. I'm aware of people and how people are just out here and traveling and living like rock stars, basically. When I was younger, people really weren't traveling like that, you know? I'm not saying that people didn't have the funds. I did grow up in poverty, so most of my neighbors and the people in my neighborhood were just trying to get by. But even outside of that, I don't recall people traveling at the rate that people travel now, and a lot of people are traveling themselves into more and more credit card debt. So I don't look at debt as someone being bad with money. I don't. But I do look at someone who has credit card debt as someone who doesn't know how to manage credit cards, because as I stated, there are ways that you can make credit cards work for you. Whether you have to go and get a new credit card that has a 0% APR intro bonus for 9, 12, or 15 months, or whatever it may be, there are ways to avoid credit card debt. It's not a debt that you have to have. I always call credit card debt a silly debt. I stand by that, but I'm very aware that everyone who is in credit card debt did not get there because they decided to go and spend on discretionary items. I'm aware that a lot of them are there because they had to use it because of an emergency, whether it's because they were laid off or they had a family emergency or health, whatever it may be. I am aware of that. So I show grace to them. But in regard to those that just go and do discretionary spending and use it when they don't have to in regard to their credit cards, those things could be avoidable. So I really want people to focus on making sure that they are using these credit cards the correct way and they are avoiding getting in high levels of credit card debt. I know some of you feel like it's unavoidable, but it is avoidable. It's not impossible. But as I stated, the link to this article will be in the description box. But before you leave, I want you all to participate in my active poll. My active poll is actually related to debt. So I want you to participate in my active poll. The way you do so is you're going to click on the profile picture that you see right now on the screen. It's going to take you to the homepage of this Water Your Soil channel. Once you're there, you're going to see a section that says posts. You're going to click on that post section, and then you'll see my latest poll as well as my previous poll. Be sure to participate in all of them. But anyway, if you're new around here and you're feeling the vibe, this is Water Your Soil. Be sure to hit the subscribe button, turn on all notifications. That way you don't miss a future video because I post often. That's clicking on the bell that you see and selecting all. And also, this goes to every single one of you, my subscribers included. Be sure to hit the like button. It literally takes 1 second. It lets the algorithm know you support this video and this channel. I appreciate every single one of you for stopping by, for supporting this video, for hitting the like button, sharing these videos, leaving a comment. I really do. This is Water Your Soil, and I'm out. Hey, what's going on? This is Nell from Water Your Soil. So as someone who went from a 549 credit score all the way up to the 800s, I decided to share the same information that helped me go from poor credit to excellent credit. This book is titled Strategies to Master Credit. I put everything in this book, everything that helped me go from poor credit to excellent credit. All of the information is in this book. So I want you all to purchase this book. A lot of you have already purchased it, but it's available currently right now on Amazon.com and also MasterCreditBook.com. It's titled Strategies to Master Credit. You want this book. It has all the information needed in order for you to go from poor credit to excellent credit, or just simply maintain your good or excellent credit score. So get the book ASAP. And if you want something more in depth, you could take the course over at www.wateryoursoil.com. It's more in depth. There are actually chapters in this course, and it walks you through basically how FICO credit scores come about and how they're determined. And really, once you learn how FICO scores come about and the concept of credit scores, then you're pretty much on your way to either going from poor credit to good credit, or just maintaining a good or excellent credit score. So if you want something more in depth, I have the course over at www.wateryoursoil.com. All right.